Connecting with Jennifer Filzen. Today we have Dave Parkhurst. And Dave and I know each other through the auto repair industry. He is the owner of a marketing agency. So we are of the same cloth, and we work together with several clients, and we're friends and mutual admirers. So welcome, Dave. Yay!
Well, thanks, Jennifer. It's great to be here. It's great to see you, even though it's through the screen like we see everybody for this last year. But, you know, it's fantastic to be here. I appreciate having a chance to hang out with you for a little bit.
Oh, totally, totally. And you know, you are such a legend in the auto repair world, and everybody in the they've been called ASA Northwest, which is, for those who are not in the auto repair world, Automotive Service Association Northwest. So that is pretty much Washington, Oregon, Idaho, those northern Pacific states. And now they have a new name, which is Northwest ACA, NOACA, which is Northwest Automotive
Care.
Care
Northwest Auto Care Association.
Yeah.
So
There's
I've been doing ASA for years. Now it's NOACA.
I know, right? So it's alphabet soup. But anyway, we finally got to have a meeting when we saw each other in Spokane in September. And that was so awesome. And I found out so much about you. Like, of course, you're a legend. Look at your background, right? So if you don't mind sharing with those who have yet to meet you,
Sure.
Tell us a little bit about what makes Dave Parkhurst special and unique.
Well, I'm going to wrap in all my folks in this, because my folks make me look good. You know, that's kind of really what it comes down to. So, yeah, I mean, at Greenhaven, we started this company back in 1994 when, you know, there was this new thing called the internet. And I thought, you know, this internet thing, I'd been doing computers for about 10 years. Before that, I started in the computer industry in 84 and selling computers across the Northwest. And then in 94, when this internet thing happened, I thought there might be something to this. There might be, and I did what I did. I disciplined myself not to start too many businesses anymore. I really just work with businesses. But what I did then is, when I had an interesting idea, I thought there might be something to this. I thought, I'm going to start a business. I didn't really know what I was doing, but we built some of the first websites in the Northwest for ASA, as an example, for the local Chamber of Commerce and a variety of other organizations. And really, what it really comes down to, and this is what you do really wonderfully in terms of connecting with people, the bottom line with what we do versus a lot of folks in the digital sphere, and you know this really well, a lot of people in the digital sphere, they build something, they hand it to somebody, and then they might send them some reports every now and then. Well, that's not the way we do business. What we do is just like what you do, in the sense of, although we do different things, we connect with people, we get to know them, we get to know their business, we work with them from month to month to month. We try some things in, like, the search engine optimization space. We figure out what works, what doesn't work, and then we just keep it going. So it's really more of a ongoing long-term relationship that we have with our clients, rather than a once and done, build it and go away kind of thing. And I think that makes us a little bit different than most of the folks in our business.
Oh, so true. You know, it's really a matter of a partnership rather than a salesperson perspective.
Exactly.
One thing that I remembered from years ago, one of my mentors from a Chamber of Commerce, she said there are two kinds of sales. There's transactional and there's consultative.
Right.
And transactional is that kind of, like, you know, telemarketers, wham bam kind of, thank you, ma'am.
Yep.
That, you know, it's that, okay, act now, act now.
Right.
But consultative is offering some value. It's a longer sales cycle, but it tends to be more loyal.
Exactly. Well, and what I tell my clients,
yeah.
But when I tell my clients about that is, I don't want to squeeze every last penny out of them. When they contract with me, I don't want their pennies. What I want is, I want a relationship with them for the rest of their life. And I tell them that I want you to send me checks for the rest of my life. And the only way that's going to work, only way you're going to keep sending me checks, is if you're seeing some results and you've got a good relationship. And, you know, so that's kind of what we do at Greenhaven. And that's what I tell all of my staff. I said, look, guys, here's the thing. We got to love our clients. We got to care for our clients, and whatever their issue is becomes our issue, you know? So that's kind of how we built the business, and how we maintain it, and how we grow it. And it's also, just, as you know, it's just a lot of fun. That's the way you have fun in business. You make friends with your clients, and you make friends of people that, you know, like you and I get to be friends. I mean, this is how I think you have a business that's fun.
Yes, and when you put the relationships before the transactions, guess what? You always
Right.
get more transactions because
Yep.
people know you're authentic and that you
Absolutely.
genuinely care. So,
Exactly.
but I am going to steal your line. I want you to pay me for the rest of my life. I usually say I want you to work with me for decades, but
Exactly.
okay, I'll change it to the Dave Parkhurst Green.
No charge. No charge.
Okay, so
Absolutely.
um, one thing that I have found in talking to people and connecting with them is that we all have people that we serve in our lives, and
Right.
in a business sense, there's that one. But like in our lives, you know, we've got our family, we've got our friends, we've got our various groups that we belong to, hobbies or
Yep.
nonprofits or whatever. And you know, and then some people say God, you know, so
Yep.
so
Mhm.
in your life, I'm because you're so giving and you're so involved in your community, who do you serve in your life? I can imagine the list for you is long.
Well, yeah, I mean, friends, family, faith, those are all important to me. I'll highlight something that might be a little bit different. I'm a board member of two nonprofits in the area that work with just basically underserved communities. So one of the nonprofits I'm involved in is called Arriva, and just to sort of tout what Arriva is all about is there's folks that go through school and then they graduate from high school and they go to college and they're career bound and they've got aspirations, and there's other folks in the community that just don't know that the world is open to them and that they can do more than just live and work at McDonald's or something like that. And so what Arriva does is we're still in the sort of the startup phase. So, but what Arriva does is we provide opportunities for people to, one, know that their self-perceptions of what they can't do are really not true. They can really do a lot more. We provide them vocational education to start with in nursing and also in HVAC. We help them through there's no cost to any of this. We're a nonprofit, and so we raise money to do this. Then we outreach to the community that my business is in Parkland. We outreach to the community around us to find folks that sort of fit in that category that just doesn't believe they've got a future. And I'm going to recommend a book to you.
Okay.
It's called Making the Impossible Possible by Bill Strickland. So Bill Strickland he's still alive. I don't want to do postmortem. So Bill Strickland grew up in the ghettos, and he was in the 50s. He was a black man in the ghettos. And people told him he didn't have opportunity. Well, he just didn't believe that. He encountered people that encouraged him and encouraged him to know that the world was open to him, and he just one thing after another. And so eventually, now there are centers like ours all across the world that are reaching out to communities that don't otherwise believe that they've got potential. And so, from my perspective, the reason I'm involved is because I spent a number of years at Apple Education, and we worked with the schools, and it was great. But there was always a group of people that just never thought there was a future for them. So anyway, you can tell I'm kind of passionate about that. And
Oh,
then I work with one other nonprofit in the community that helps folks to get off of drugs, get their lives in order. It's been around for about 50 years. And we work with folks that are coming out of jail, that are in jail, that are, whatever they're down and out, we help them to get their lives on track so that they can, and that's my way of evaluating people. People ask you to be on boards, right?
right.
People ask you to be on nonprofit. I get lots of invitations. Join this board, join that board, join the other board. It's like the only boards I'm interested in joining, well, very few, because I don't have the bandwidth to do much more, but they've got to serve a community that is underserved. So
Mhm.
that's kind of where I'm at. And though, so I'm passionate about those things.
Wow. Okay. Okay. There's so much wonderful stuff to unpack there. First off, kudos to you that you're involved as a board member on two really impactful nonprofits. That is fantastic. Um, So one thing that I have discovered in my own pursuit of self-development and getting over my own self-limiting beliefs, and it's so
Yep,
interesting, isn't it?
that's
We're
it.
like layers of onions, aren't we, Dave?
Yep, yep.
Like just when you think you've eradicated that layer that's going to prevent you from whatever, you suddenly discover another layer. Like, damn it.
Exactly.
Ongoing process.
It is.
So when you find that you have people that are just so hopeless,
Yeah,
that how do you, because again, I remember personally, I have started coaching programs and done various things to, like, hey, I want to help. And then there are some people where the adage, you can lead a horse to water, but you cannot make them drink.
right,
So
right.
how is your success rate with that? Are you finding that the people that come to this program are already ready to say, okay, I know where I'm at, I need help, and this is the salvation that I'm seeking? Or are you guys just kind of showing up somewhere in the midst of their lives, and they may or may not be ready for you, and they may or may not take advantage of what you're offering?
It's really the second, I think. Now we're Ariba is we're several years old, but we do some classes right now. In fact, we're doing classes on video production and on pottery. So Bill Strickland, he started his journey down this path, decades ago with pottery, and he learned a certain amount of self-worth from just doing the pottery, creating something that was unique. And so, but yeah, we encounter people in the centers like ours across the nation, across the world, really encounter people that some will and some won't. Some believe it, and some, over time, as you kind of get to it, it's really, you have a relationship with them. You find some interest that they've got. So whether it's pottery or whether it's taking a video and editing them, you have some basic thing that draws them in. And from that sort of seed of an opportunity, then comes the opportunity to expand more on that. And, well, maybe this is something you want to pursue as a career. Well, I can't have a career. Generational poverty, and I've come from this community, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And some may not get out of that. Some folks just might not get out of it. But we want to speak as much into their lives as possible to help them to know that they can. And some do, and some change their lives, some turn their lives completely around and have great careers and become, go to college even after that. I mean, our program is not a college bound program. Our is really a more vocationally oriented program. And so from that perspective, it's really just a matter of sort of hoping to find folks that you can make a difference in their lives. And the same thing's true with the other nonprofit I'm a part of as well. It's, some folks, no matter what you do, they're not going to get off of drugs. It's just, but you got to try, right? I think it's not so much, you're not going to get 100% of anything in life. That's just not the way the world works, right? But you just got to try. You just got to do the best you can, and you're going to make a difference along the way.
Oh, you're such a good man. So, do you have any success stories? Because I know that you're a great storyteller. Do you have anything that really touches your heart that you want to share?
Well, excuse me, in both of these scenarios, one of them is, I mean, we've got some success stories in the video space already. Some students that are here from other countries that didn't, are not really fully Americanized yet, that have really sort of taken to it. And really, it comes down to, we've got a wonderful teacher that's a part of our group, and for her, it's really a passion. It's not a job. It's not just, show up now, do this to now. She's really investing in herself and people's lives, and that's what it takes in business too, right? That's what it takes in every aspect of everything you do, is just investing excuse me, investing in folks' lives. And so the seedlings of that for Ariba are just beginning now. And I know I might have to take a cough drop here. And
Oh, quite
I
all
know that
right.
over time, that's going to manifest in changed lives. And also, frankly, also from a business perspective, as a business person in my community, having folks that are learning skills that are in super high demand. I mean, nursing is there. We need nurses like there's no tomorrow.
Right.
HVAC, getting the heat fixed and getting the AC fixed. There's not enough folks doing that. I mean, there's a lot of places in our economy that there's just not enough people doing that. So when you pick something that is both going to impact somebody's life and going to benefit our economy at the same time, our business, our overall community, I think that's really where the full win comes in. So we're nonprofits, we're not charities. So we're not just giving folks stuff. It's leading them to the water, saying, here's why you should drink the water. We believe you can drink the water. And boy, doesn't the water look great? All of that to the point where ultimately they try it out, and then you support that success. Whatever little tiny seed of success you've got, you support that success. And again, it's the same way that we pursue things in business. We look for opportunities and build on success and help people to be more than they would have been if they didn't, encounter us in the first place.
Oh, I love it. I love it. See, you're making me want to drink the water, Dave.
Well, good. Well, none of us are hydrated enough, so drink lots of water. Meanwhile,
let's all take a water drink right now. Yeah, let's all.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness. Mm. Well, while you're taking care of yourself, I just want to reflect on that. Gosh, you're doing some great stuff. Okay, so the next thing I want to know is your why. Okay, I can see that you are super passionate about this kind of stuff, and that is awesome. What got you involved with these kind of things? What was it from Apple Education that you saw all this potential? Was it something from your childhood? Like, what was the spark of all this awesome community involvement and giving everyone a really good try as far as bettering their lives? Did you have a situation in your life where you were afforded that opportunity?
Well, there's sort of two things there. One of them is a true geek answer, because I'm a geek, and I've always been a geek. I'll tell you where I started being a geek. I've always made my living being a geek of some sort, whether it's computers or websites and programming and development and all that kind of stuff. It really started back in the '60s when I was watching Star Trek. So this is how much of a geek I am. I took a tape recorder in 1968 as a little kid, and I recorded the Star Trek episodes. And I said, I'm going to have one of those ships. I'm going to have one of those computers. My parents supported me. They bought me one of the first computers that was one of the first TRS-80s that was sold in the city of Tacoma back in the mid '70s. I started teaching myself to program, and have never looked back ever since. And so I'm passionate about technology. And then and I had people don't believe there's such a thing as a Leave It to Beaver childhood, but I really had that kind of great childhood. My parents were very supportive, and I had lots of opportunities that, we weren't a rich family or anything like that. My dad was a blue collar worker, but I had a great supportive environment my entire time growing up, and my folks supported me in my crazy technology pursuits and all of that. And so it's then two things kind of led to that career. That I understood that if people are supported, they're going to achieve much greater potential. And so that's kind of how I've always been a manager of that. When I have people working for me, I manage that way. And my outreach, my sales approach to business is that way. It's like, well, what are your problems? How can we solve them together? And then technology is always involved, because when my current car gives out, I really want the Starship Enterprise. That's my next car. I keep saying that's my next car. So I still, I'm jealous of William Shatner, because he got to go to space. I have not yet gotten to go to space. I want to go to space. It might take till I'm 90 like him, but we'll see. So it's really those combination of two things that's kind of led my entire career through selling computers and working for Apple, and then working in education for Apple, and then eventually deciding that the corporate world was going to suck the life out of me, and so starting my own business.
Oh gosh, yes, you're right. First off, I remember the TRS-80s from Radio Shack. That was my first computer as well. We called it the Trash 80.
Trash 80, you betcha, absolutely. Especially the Commodore people called us TRS-80 people. Oh, you're just Trash 80 people, yeah.
Yeah, and I remembered, like, all the cool kids had Pac-Man and all the new Nintendo games that were out, or Atari. It was Atari.
2600.
And I didn't have that, but I had the Trash 80 version of Pac-Man, and I didn't have a joystick, so I had to get really familiar with the up and down, side to side keys. So I would play it like this. I would do it like this.
Exactly. And that was high tech, man. That was one step shy of warp drive. That was the stuff. My friends came over, and we would do that for hours on end.
Oh, for sure, for sure. But I do love that you were driven to help others. That is really cool. And you're right. It's like back in the 70s, the 80s, I don't think any of us really came from rich families, but
No.
the families knew that, okay, this computer thing is an important thing for the kids. I remember Daddy making me my own computer. My dad was a ham radio operator.
Oh, really? Very
Yeah.
cool.
So he
I
was
always
big
wanted to do that. I
ham.
never got into that, but I always wanted to do that.
Oh yeah, and the hams, they're the original Wi-Fi dudes.
Oh,
They're the
yeah.
ones that brought Wi-Fi technology to the computer world.
Yep.
And so, and my dad always had like a phone pad attached to his microphone. So we had cell phone
Yep.
ability way before the bricks, the big huge bricks came
Oh,
out.
yeah. Yep.
But yeah, I mean, I didn't realize how lucky I was to have a father who was a technophile back in the day. But then
Absolutely.
technology would move on so quickly and so expensively that Daddy eventually got out of, being able to find the latest, buy the newest, keep up,
Right.
because it just
Yep.
went quickly, right?
Oh,
But
yeah.
yeah, he built me a computer in college, and
Was that a
oh,
Heathkit?
huh?
Was that one of the Heathkit computers?
I don't even know what it was, honey. It was a a father lovingly building a computer for his college daughter who didn't quite appreciate what, because I didn't know, and like I just and unfortunately I'm still something like this to this day. I don't want to build something. I just want it to work,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I want it to come all together, and I don't want any problems.
Yep.
And my dad did his best, but I think the problem with this thing is it didn't have much memory.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I remembered trying to work on a paper and losing that paper halfway through as I'm processing it, because
Yeah.
it just, we didn't know what we know now. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure that a Gen A, or Gen Alpha, a
Right.
Gen Z, or a millennial would laugh at me and my foibles in my college era time. Because again, I went to college before the internet was available to the common populace,
Oh, yeah.
and I got my master's degree before. I had to write all my thesis and everything before the internet, and then the internet came out after I graduated. I'm like, really? Really?
Yeah.
Like, I was
Yeah.
so
That's right. What could we have done if we had the internet back in the day? I mean,
Oh my gosh. But that's the thing. Like these new generations, and even the people that are benefiting from the nonprofits that you work with, and the people benefiting from, your history of working with Apple, your current business of Greenhaven Interactive. Like what you do is you really just make it so easy. You provide, here's the entire solution. Let me
right.
offer this to you. You don't have to freak out about it. You don't
Exactly.
have to worry. You don't have to stress. And thank
Yep.
you for being that person, because, I'm not going to build a computer, but I do appreciate my daddy. But
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's a labor of love, I'm sure.
oh, for sure. But, back then, if only I had known, make
Yeah.
sure to put more memory in there. Like I didn't know. Like,
Well,
please,
it wasn't knowledge that anybody knew at the time, right? I mean,
no.
I saved all my programs on cassette tapes back in the day. That was that. I remember when the disk drive came out. I date myself this way, but when the disk drive came out, I said, "Why would I want one of those? I can't write a program that's big enough to fit one of those." There wasn't. We didn't have programs. We wrote what we needed.
Oh, right. And remember when a terabyte was a big deal?
Oh, that was a big deal. That was expensive and big, and now it's like I need a terabyte memory stick.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, I know. We really are dating ourselves. But hey,
Oh,
I like taking myself out on a date.
exactly.
Anyway, so what advice do you have for people? Because you have such a wealth of knowledge and experience. If someone is wanting to start their own business, or if someone is wanting to get off of drugs, or if someone is wanting to just make a better life for themselves, what do you want to share with the audience?
Well, the tagline that I've got on my business cards and my website and everything else is "You're amazing, and we want the world to know it." And so whatever place, whether we're talking about business, when you and I encounter business people, one of the biggest challenges that they've got is they do this wonderful thing. And the only problem is not enough people know that they do this wonderful thing. As I look across my client base, it's like these are just some incredible people doing incredible work for their clients, and people are happy with them and they're making a difference. And the biggest challenge that a lot of them have is not that their work isn't good, but that just not enough people know about them. And so, and as marketing companies, as marketeers, you and I, we help people know about them, right? And but that same principle really applies in lots of areas, whether it's my staff, when I'm talking to my staff, they're amazing, and I want to encourage their amazingness so that they can help other people. If we're talking about the folks that in the two nonprofits that I work with, they don't know they're amazing. I know they're amazing, but they don't know they're amazing. And life circumstances maybe has taught them that they're not amazing. Maybe their family situation, their backgrounds taught them that they're not amazing. For some reason, they just don't know it. And so applying that exact same principle that I apply to marketing and business to the nonprofits, they're amazing, and I want them to know how amazing they are. And once they know that, then the world can know that, and they will do amazing things for the world. I mean, it's a no-lose situation when you kind of take it from that sort of, people talk about scarcity and abundance. You take it from that abundance kind of mindset and say, not unrealistically, right? I mean, there's limitations, but you take it from that perspective and say, you're amazing. You can do just anything you need to do. And so whether I work with a client and I say, we're going to help you, we're going to help the world to know how amazing you are, or whether it's somebody who doesn't believe they got a life working beyond anything in McDonald's, it's the same thing. It's the same basic principle applies across the board. And
Oh,
that's what I want the world to know. If you take this on a grand societal basis, I encountered somebody who I got my Starbucks here, and I was driving through Starbucks, and she said something to me. I don't remember what she said. I said, "Hey, thanks very much. I really appreciate that." And she says, "Well, you're very kind." Now, I don't know where she's coming from. She doesn't know where I'm coming from. But two people had a interaction based on kindness, right? And so if and I get to thinking as I was driving away from there, I don't know anything about her life. She doesn't know anything about mine. But if more people had, and not I'm not a paragon of virtue, but if more people just had kind interactions with each other, and if they just said, "I'm looking for something amazing in you, not where I disagree with you. I'm looking for something amazing in you that I can highlight, and these areas where we disagree, whatever." But that to me is that's societal transformation.
yes.
Amen, sister.
Bravo. Bravo. It's so interesting how fear and and creating an angry space
Right,
is the go-to for manipulating people into behavior, right?
right, right.
Scare the shit out of them
Yep,
and piss them off,
yep,
and
yep.
they'll take action. And that's why I choose to watch news networks like thegoodnewsnetwork.org. It's always got happy information,
Right.
and
Yep.
because it's just like I'm tired I have to go on negativity diets every so often,
Yeah.
where I cut out the
Right.
negativity,
Right.
because you know what, I cannot control all of that. I can
Yep.
focus on what I can do.
Yep.
Just like you, if I can show people that they are amazing, if I can put the limelight on their business and tell
Right.
their story and bring it out and create a buzz and get people excited about the cool stuff. Like when I was at the SEMA show this past week in Las Vegas, working in the booth of Switch Vehicles
Mhm.
and encouraging people. Oh, this was fun. So we needed to do a build, right?
Right.
And originally, we were going to just have people that were familiar with the Switch vehicles to build, because, kind of controlling the situation, right? Because we only
Right.
had 4 days to build this thing. And I suggested, why don't we just ask random people? We are surrounded by a bunch of gearheads, and we can tell them that they might actually have an opportunity to help with a SEMA build. Like, I
Right.
think that would generate some excitement. And you know
Absolutely.
what's so cool, Dave? We did have students who have been trained, and we had a lot of we had a lot of university students. We had and college students. We had Brigham Young University of Idaho. We had Idaho State University. We had students from and I can't remember the name of it, but it's a college in Los Angeles. Oh gosh, we had some Purdue University kids that were coming by. There was another group that was in like Mission Viejo, California. So anyway, some of them were already seasoned and some of them had no idea, but they saw that the cool stuff was going on. I'm like, you want to turn a wrench? And when I was working on the electrical portion of it, there was a father-daughter team, and she was maybe 20,
Right.
and he was an electrical whiz, and they were talking all about it, and she seemed really interested. I said, hey, you want to help me with the wiring? And she's like, yeah. It turns out she'd worked on her own Jeep, and she knew how to work certain things, and she was quite seasoned. And I was like, okay, the two of us are working faster and more efficiently than if I had just done this by myself. It would have taken me 2 hours to do it by myself, but with us,
Yep.
we got it done within like a
Yep.
half hour.
Absolutely.
And so you're right. It's just a matter of like, look at this awesome thing that we're doing. Look at how we're making the world a better place through this product, through this service, through this
Yep.
interaction, through these
Absolutely.
connections. And that's what I'm choosing to focus on as well.
Absolutely.
Good news
Absolutely.
and good energy and
Yep.
abundant mentality. Yeah.
Exactly right.
Oh my gosh.
Absolutely.
So I know that you've got to get going soon, but listen, we're gonna ask you, where is all of the contact information? How do people find Dave Parkhurst and Greenhaven Interactive?
If you just go to greenhaveninteractive.com, you'll find both the contact form, my cell phone's right on the front of the website, and we'd love to talk to folks. So we're excuse me, we're there, and that's really the hub for everything we do.
Okay, awesome. And then what were the names of your nonprofits again?
One of them is Arriva, and that's spelled ARIVVA. And so you go to arriva.org
Okay.
and learn more about what we're doing in the Parkland area of Pierce County, Washington. And the other one is called PCA, Pierce County Alliance, which again works throughout the county and now actually even beyond the county to help folks to get through drug addiction and to make better use of their time and lives.
Wonderful. Okay, so greenhaveninteractive.com, arriva.org, and do a Google search for Pierce County Alliance. You are doing some great work in the world, Dave. Good job.
I'll
Good
try to
job.
contribute a little bit.
Well, everybody, I hope you understand why Dave Parkhurst is the legend in the Northwest in the automotive world. And I adore you. I'm so glad we got to do this today. That was super
Thanks,
fun.
Jennifer. It's
Yeah,
really good to see you. Look forward to seeing you again soon.
right on. Okay, bye everybody. Thank you. See ya. Bye.